no peace I find. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia, Georgia, oh, that whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind, Georgia on my mind, Georgia, Georgia. Oh, it's just a song of you. It comes sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. Other arms reach out to me, and other eyes smile so tenderly. Still and peaceful dreams I say, the road leads back to you. Georgia, Georgia, no peace I find. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind, on my mind.
Very nice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just switching over here to a gallery view so everybody can see us. So for those of you who just joined us in the last couple of minutes, or maybe you just joined us on Facebook Live, welcome to our monthly Westwood for All Ages Social Connection Happy Hour. I'm thrilled to see some familiar faces here and a couple new ones as well. So the purpose of these Social Connection Happy Hours is to provide an opportunity for our older residents in town, and really anybody, to enjoy some connection, enjoy some gathering, get away from some of the seriousness and heaviness of the day with a little entertainment like we just enjoyed by Barbara and Bill, and get some information about things happening here in Westwood, which you're going to hear about in just a minute. And also to get some value out of it. Today we're going to have a presenter speak about some mental health issues that are something that impacts all of us, especially right now. And then also to allow for a little bit of connection as well. So if everybody here just wants to unmute themselves, we can take a few moments to say hello and say hi to each other. I recognize a few of my friends here. We've got Roseanne Charlanti, who is our assistant project manager with Westwood for All Ages. We've got our presenters here. Chrissy, it's good to see you again. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. I'm good. I'm great.
Good.
Yeah.
And Chrissy has been with us as an entertainer on 2 of our previous ones, and just has provided some delightful music as well. And she actually connected me with Barbara and Bill. Martha, good to see you. You're a little in the shadows, but
I know. My computer's in a terrible place.
we need to get you a desk lamp. That's what
I know. I keep every day I go home and I think I got to get one, and then I forget. And
a little bit of illumination is great. Hey, Debbie, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Lisa. How are you?
Great. Is this your first time joining us?
No, I've been on 1 or 2 other occasions.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I recall now. I'm forgetting. We only do these once a month. And Michelle, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been, honey?
Hanging in there.
You're hanging in there. Have you been able to get out at all and do anything?
I've been trying. Yeah, it's just some shopping and visiting my sister, so that's good. So.
Oh, great. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
But thank you. Welcome. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. And I see Mike is here, Mike Violano. I recognize the Mike V, but he's not on mic or video. If you'd like to join in and say hello to everybody, Mike, I won't pressure you, but please feel free to. And same with Judith Wilkinson. If you're not able to, that's totally fine too, or some people aren't comfortable being on camera. There's no worries there. And Sally, I'm so thrilled to see Sally again. She's one of our favorite Westwood for All Ages ambassadors. And Jean.
Not true.
Jean, can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you guys at Meals on Wheels?
Yeah, well, we've delivered meals through the pandemic. We went from our regular delivery in March. We stopped, I think it was March 16th. We went to frozen meals on that Monday. Instead of delivering every day, Monday through Friday, we delivered once a week, 5 frozen meals. So we did that for 15 weeks. It was pretty intense, but we still really don't know a heck of a lot, but we just knew that we had to keep our seniors and our volunteers away from each other, which is a tough thing to do. So it worked out. We went back to regular meal delivery on July 6th. So we're delivering again Monday through Friday. And it's a little awkward. You know, some of our clients, they don't have the ability to get to the door, to open the door. So we do have to go into their homes. So everybody has masks and hand sanitizers. We try to do the 6-foot thing as much as possible. Try to get our protocol ready. Probably next week or the week after, we're gonna start taking temperatures. It's more of a CYA type of deal than I think that it's actually doing anything, but you know, keeping everybody's temperature log and having to sign off that they haven't been in contact with anybody who has COVID or have any symptoms. So it's not what we normally do. It's not the same old, but we're getting the food out there. And I'm really happy to be here with Mike, because what we are seeing is our seniors are struggling because they're isolated. My senior on Meals on Wheels are isolated to begin with, and now they're even more isolated because many of them can't see their family members. So it's trying to keep in touch with them is we need some ideas. So I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jean. And I just also, for those of you who already know Jean, it doesn't surprise you if I say that Jean was on top of this before things even crazy and shut down. I remember her telling us, you know, we need a plan because something's happening here and we might not be able to get our meals like we usually do. And I'm like, oh, pshaw, of course not. It's not a big deal. I'm sure it'll be fine. And everybody was like, oh, it can't be that bad. And Jean's like, we're buying hand sanitizer. We're getting Clorox wipes. She knew before anybody else that things could happen. So I'm learning a lot from Jean. Kudos.
Thank you.
Prophetic and seeing things 12 steps ahead of everybody else. So thank you. So one of the things that we like to, oh, hi, Kathy. I just see Kathy snuck in on us.
Kathy.
Good to see you. One of the things we started doing last month in these connections was these little like trivia games. So I'm gonna start by doing these little, they're like polling questions. Now, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you will not get to participate in this, but for those of us who are here in this group, I'm gonna share with you a little question that has to do with Arts on the Avenue before I turn it over to Roseanne, just to kind of see if you guys even know what this is about. So you see there's a question there on the screen that says, have you had a chance to enjoy the outdoor performing artists in the downtown area as part of Celebrate Westwood's Arts on the Avenue? So if you've been downtown and you've seen these performers, a variety of performers in a variety of spots, click yes. No, if you haven't had a chance to, and what performances, if you don't even know what we're talking about, then say what performances. Let's see how we do here. Okay, since there's not that too many of us on here, I'm really happy to say that it looks like a little over half of you have seen them. So for the 4 of you who said no, Roseanne's going to give you a little spiel on what that's all about and a little schedule, and hopefully you can enjoy that. Roseanne?
Lisa, can I share my screen?
Absolutely. I think
Okay.
you have permission to.
I have it, yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Roseanne. I work with Lisa with Westwood for All Ages. I also work with the Recreation Department, and I do a little volunteering with a newer organization in town called Celebrate Westwood. This is our website, celebratewestwood.org, and as you can see, we've got some performances that we're doing. It's called Arts on the Avenues. I'll pop over to the calendar. So what we've been doing is across Westwood Avenue and into Veterans Park, we've been putting some musicians and photographer and a young sculptor, and I'm just trying to, liven up downtown as we socially distance ourselves. So you can see, maybe not tonight because I have a feeling the rain is coming and it's going to be quite severe, but tonight we would have had some portrait sessions, which is also a fundraiser for our emergency services. And then a really wonderful guitarist and singer, Gordo, who is about 72 or so, and he's just amazing. He sounds a little bit like, he's a little folksy, but he plays some great, classics and some original music as well. We have a great jazz guitarist, Sam Bernhardt, who just came back to this area from Hawaii. So we're happy to have him. And then a young pianist who's only been playing for about 2 years. So he went from, hey kid, here's middle C, to playing Chopin. So that's a little bit about Arts on the Avenues. We'll be doing that through September. And then we're going to, Celebrate Westwood is working with the Chamber of Commerce to morph into some additional programming throughout the fall. So we're going to try and go all the way to the end of the year with activities, including Halloween and Christmas and New Year's. But, so keep an eye out on this page if you, or our Facebook site if you're interested in getting out safely. I'm gonna stop.
Do you want to tell them about the email that you sent yesterday? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that with the businesses and the video?
Oh, sure, yeah. So
and speak a little closer and get a little closer to your computer so I can hear you better.
Turn up my volume. Working with the Chamber of Commerce to highlight the businesses downtown and across Westwood. And we're asking for, fans of certain shops to shoot little videos that will include in some promotions throughout town. The Chamber of Commerce recently shot a commercial, which you may have seen either on their webpage or Facebook site, or actually on News Channel 12, where it's running regularly. And this is the first time they've ever attempted anything like that, and they're very proud of their efforts. And we just want to support them and tell everyone the COVID story of our merchants downtown. So I mean, they've really so many of them have really just turned on a dime and really improved so many or updated so many of their services so that they can continue to serve the community in a really positive way. That's everything from like adding new products to adding e-commerce when they never had it. Flynn's has an ice cream truck now, all kinds of curbside delivery. So we just really want to call attention to that and, make sure everyone's supporting local as much as they can.
Yeah, thank you, Roseanne. And each month when we're here, we always do a little pitch to remind people to shop local and support your local businesses and your restaurants. All of them have takeout available, curbside service. They're sort of the heart and soul of our downtown. And despite the pandemic, we've seen new businesses opening. And that's really been encouraging to see. So the next question we're going to quiz you guys now is to see how much you know about one of our more recent openings. And this is a new business that sells ice cream downtown. So do you know what this business is called? Is it called Heavenly Stacks, The Raw Squeeze, The Ice Creamery, Stack Creamery, or Pliables? It might feel like a trick question. Because we've had a few new opening up recently. Okay, did everybody not vote? Martha, but she's on the phone. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to call it and share the results. And yes, good thing. Most of you knew it was Stack Creamery. Who's tried it? Raise your hands if you've tried their ice cream. How is it? We're getting the thumbs up. It was good, right? I have not yet. I'm not in a place yet where I'm willing to put that many calories in my body in one fell swoop with all that sugar, but in a couple months.
I will say that my husband and I shared, and it was more than
Yeah, they look like pretty generous portions from what I've seen too. So that's
great reception. There's always a line outside.
So that's good. It's wonderful to see a new business opening and having business, having people come and spend their money there. So that's wonderful. And if you have grandchildren, that's a great place to bring them for a little treat. And for yourself as well, obviously. Okay, so Barbara, how would you like to regale us with another song? But introduce yourself before I just had you playing as people were coming in. But can you introduce yourself and your wonderful string player in the back, your guitarist in the back. Let me just say, wow, on that last song, some really great picking work. Awesome job.
Okay, Bill's really good. Okay,
Yeah.
who are we? Okay, I'm Barbara Beeman, and that's Bill Bannon.
She's the one with the beautiful white hair, and I'm the one with the beautiful white hair. That's how you tell us apart.
So anyway, I was a supervisor of social work for Hudson County Social Services. So everything you're saying is nice to me, and I am very happy that you guys are doing such wonderful things in Westwood. It's really lovely to hear such nice stuff. And
When I went to high school right next door in Orville.
That's great. Yeah.
I didn't think.
we're going to do a song just because you have your COVID information going on. We're going to do a song written by our friend Luke Faust, and he wrote it. It's called Face to Face, and it's a COVID song. Here's a little memento from another time and place. Back when it was no big deal to meet up face to face. We stood shoulder to shoulder and passed things hand to hand. Go out for the evening and tune up with the band. Go to the beach and wallow. Go to a club and scream. Take a full flight overnight and stand in line for ice cream. But now I sit by the window and watch a jogger pass. Now and then a car goes by, not moving very fast. The spring trees are in blossom. The robins have arrived. Squirrels run on the power lines. Sparrows organize. But for us, we hit a wall. Humans running scared. We learned again, when you don't see nothing, don't mean there's nothing there. So when you see your cousin's face, give him or her some breathing space. We still have everything to know, but fear and greed are not the place to go. Okay, guys, we really weren't going to play that one, but we decided since you had...
When you started talking about the ice cream,
It was a good connection, actually. That was very good. And you said a friend of yours wrote that.
A friend, yes. He's a senior, and he's a great songwriter. Luke Faust is his name.
Very lovely. So when you're not doing this sort of thing online, what do you guys do in the rest of your life? What sorts of things do you do?
Well, we retired, okay?
so we were ready.
We were ready to retire. Welfare had killed us. No, we worked so hard. There were so many programs. At one point,
Well, how about your photography?
I had everything going on.
I think she's more interested in what you're doing
So,
now, not what you used
What
to.
we've been doing is something similar to what you guys do. We've been doing music on Broadway in Bayonne, but it did come to a halt temporarily. And we play open mics, and we're very happy with that. And we've been playing virtual open mics.
Barbara's being modest. She's not talking about her pictures.
And yes, and
She's has a whole series of pictures published in a French magazine, mostly taken during the lockdown or the.
Wow. Where can we see these pictures? I saw some on your Facebook page.
the pictures are in, well, you could Google Barbara Beeman and Beeman, and under that images, and then you'll see the images that I had in the Eye of Photography.
Wonderful.
It's a French online magazine, and I was right next to Harry Benson on the page, and I was like, oh my God, this is unreal. Harry Benson is the photographer who shot the Beatles way back,
Wow.
yeah, so
So maybe during our next presenter, you can take a second and write in the chat feature. You can give us the link so that we can look for that,
Okay.
look for you. Awesome.
Okay, great.
So thank you. So that's a good segue then to our next presenter who I've invited. He's a resident here, right here in Westwood. He works in Ridgewood, but he's a Westwoodian. Is that really a phrase? It's kind of a weird name. Yeah, Westwoodian. And Michael Tozzoli, who's also the CEO of West Bergen Mental Health. And so I've invited him to talk to us a little bit about some wellness tips for mental health and share with us, maybe about 10 minutes or so of information. And while he's doing that, if you find that some of the items that he's talking about spark some questions for you, if you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a place where you can type in a chat. And that's a good place for you to type in any questions, and then we can share them with him when he's done. If you're watching on Facebook on the live stream, you can also ask a question in the comment section. And Michael also said if someone would prefer to ask a question privately, which is certainly understandable, then please, you can, in the chat we have his information, and you can email him or call him. We're not going to put your cell phone number on Facebook though, Michael, but we will put on the email address.
Yeah,
so put that in the comments as well.
So,
Yeah. People might not feel comfortable asking, personal questions here, but again, if it's a general question, it doesn't have to be about you specifically, but if there's a general question that you have for Michael, feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll give him some time to answer it at the end. So Michael, go ahead and take it away. Introduce yourself a little bit if I missed anything, which I know I did, because all I did was basically your title and residence, but.
Thank you, Lisa. You're really, really kind. First, I want to thank you for having me today. I really very, very much appreciate it. I love when I see, anytime I can see Jeannie Martin, I'm in a meeting, I'm good. So I want to just thank you again. I do live in Westwood. I live on the street behind Becker's Funeral Home over in that area, but I grew up on the other side of town in the Goodwin Park area. So I am a lifelong Westwood person, minus college and graduate school and maybe a little stint that we won't talk about in Rivervale. I eventually came back to Westwood, and I have been here in this house actually 22 years, I guess. So went to Kettler, I went to Westwood Middle School, the whole 9 yards. So if you see me walking through the neighborhood with my very large white dog named Lucy, please say hello and wave to us. We're very friendly, and we walk all over town. And again, thank you for having me. So I've been doing a lot of these talks since we began in March, because this is such an unusual time. It is really historic. And in many ways, at least for most of us, I can't think of a time that we have been under this amount of rapid change and this amount of stress and this amount of discord. In some ways, there's been some very comforting moments, though. This is a comforting moment, at least for me. I like coming together with people. In some ways, this is an unusual crisis as well, in that it is the kind of the great equalizer. We're all in the same situation. We're all in the same crisis as it relates to COVID. So there are luckily some things that we can all do for ourselves to sort of work on that wellness end of who we are. And so here's a stat, and I promise not to bore people with statistics, but I am going to give one because it's a statistic that upsets me. And so I like to put it out there because when I put it out there, I feel better. So here's the stat. 1 in 4 of us will struggle with a mental illness at some time in our life. So 1 in 4. Think about 1 in 4 people on this call. Think about 1 in 4 people in your family, or as you drive up and down your street, count the houses, and every 4th house, put a yes. Know that mental illness, emotional illness is really a big problem for us and in the world today, and know that it is something that we really do need to pay attention to. That's the hard part of the statistics. Here's the good news. The good news is treatment really does work. We know that when people come in and talk to us, and whether it be a therapist, and it doesn't always have to be a therapist, to be honest. Is it your clergy person? Is it a friend? Is it someone that you trust that you can call and talk with and share your thoughts and share your feelings with? The statistics show us that you will feel better. Absolutely. And yeah, some people need a little more treatment than others, and some people need a little more aggressive treatment. But for the most part, if you find someone that you can think about, that you trust and believe in, please talk to that person, because you really will feel better. I want to leave you today really with 4 very concrete ideas. They're very simple. They're a to-do list, essentially. First, whenever we have a crisis like this, we, at least in my field, we think about sort of back to basics. So our back to basics concept is, in the middle of a crisis, we want to make sure that we are eating well, sleeping as well as we can, and we know that sometimes that can be a challenge. We want to make sure that we're drinking well, water, by the way, for the record, in terms of healthy living and thinking about ourselves. Essentially what we're saying here in this first step, eating, drinking, sleeping, taking care of our bodies is really important. It's probably the number 1 most important thing that you can do to emotionally take care of yourself and provide yourself with a sense of wellness and a sense of well-being. So eating, sleeping, drinking, and then to the best extent you can, get out there and do a little bit of exercise. And that might mean just a little bit of exercise in your home to the extent that you're comfortable, a walk in your neighborhood if you're able. It doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to be semi-frequently. I'm looking for every other day for you to do something that is in that exercise world where you can absolutely feel like you're doing something for yourself. Exercise literally changes the brain. It changes the chemicals in our brain. It changes how our brain reacts. So I'm encouraging you to do those things. So that was number 1, was taking care of our bodies. Number 2, we're looking for a schedule here. And I know this can be a little hard for some folks that may be retired or may not have quite so much structure in their day. You, by the way, are exactly the folks that I want to put a schedule together. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Think about your morning, your afternoon, and your evening. And I'm looking for 1 or 2 bullet points in each of those 3 categories. So what are the 1 or 2 things that you're going to do tomorrow morning? What are the 1 or 2 things you're going to do tomorrow afternoon? And what are the 1 or 2 things that you're going to do tomorrow evening? That provides a sense of structure. Structure provides a sense of predictability. Predictability provides a sense of safety. So we feel emotionally like there's a little bit of predictability to the world. And so schedule, morning, afternoon, and evening. I'm not looking for details in terms of from 8:30 to 9, I'm going to do this, and from 9 to 10, unless, by the way, that works for you. More power to you. But for the most part, I'm looking for broad categories, 1 or 2 things that you're going to do throughout the day. And I'm looking, by the way, for that schedule every single day, 7 days a week. Sense of predictability, sense of safety. Third tip, we're going to be asking you to limit your news intake, particularly around COVID, particularly around, I don't know, let's random example, the politics of the day. We're going to be asking you to limit your intake. News can be upsetting to us. And so if we literally turn on the news and we hear about the storm in the South, or the politics of the day, or the frightening statistics, or some information that comes around COVID, literally the chemicals in your brain fire that puts you in a panic mode. And most of those chemicals are really helpful. We need those chemicals to exist. But I really want to cut down on those chemicals. So I'm asking you for a little bit of news in the morning, a little bit, and I mean a half hour or less, a little bit of news in the late afternoon, and I would prefer not to have us watch the 11 o'clock news. Not helpful to listen to all that news, process it, and then think, all right, I'm going to go to sleep now, and flip off that television and try to get some sleep. It just isn't particularly useful. So limiting your news. Little bit of tip. I know that some of us, and my mom was a senior in Westwood, and I know when she lived alone that she often left the television on throughout the day. And I had a feeling that was just about sort of filling the space with voices and connection and people. And I really get that. I totally understand the process around that. All I'm asking you to do is to turn the channel. I don't want us leaving news on all day where we're taking in that scary information and taking in that information that could potentially be a little bit frightening to us. Find the music station, Barbara out there, find the music station, find a station where you can really enjoy and just relax. And it's fine to keep it on all day to give that sense that there's something going on in the house and that it's not so kind of quiet. Totally understand that. Let's just be mindful and selective about what we do and what we think about. So that was tip number 4. Number 4, socially connect. Here we are. I am preaching to the choir because you all have decided that you're going to join this Zoom meeting, join this group, and be a joiner in general. However that works for you, we're going to be asking you to socially connect. And so whether that means that you're able to call a friend once a day, remember that's on your schedule, right? So we're going to go back to your afternoon schedule, and one of your bullet points is going to be call a friend, call a family member if that's possible. Is it your child or your grandchild? Is it someone that you can just connect with, preferably every day, some kind of outside connection? It gives us a sense of connectivity, a sense so that we're not so alone in the world. It also, by the way, gives us something else to think about. I know when I talk to my nephew or I talk to my niece and they tell me about their job or they tell me about their house hunt or they tell me about their dog, I find I'm not so focusing on what's going on in my head and the things that I'm worried about. It actually allows me to take a break from that, and it allows me to focus on something and someone else. I have folks that I've encouraged and have literally made a list of folks that they have not been in contact with in a long time. So I do a lot of these Zooms. I do a lot of these talks for mental health, particularly since COVID. And I did one for the public library, Ridgewood Public Library. And I log on to the Zoom and the box opens and I see a name, Gary. And I see the last name and I think, that is my second cousin that lives in Boston that I haven't seen since college. It's actually my mother's cousin. And I thought, all right, he saw me post it on Facebook. He joined the conversation. I made a point to get his contact information and reach out and reconnect. And it was a really interesting experience. It was an experience of connectivity. I had some kind of interesting, parentheses, I'm a history nerd, close parentheses, historical questions about the family. What better person to talk to than my mother's cousin who's in his mid-80s and was able to really fill me in on some things that had occurred or clarified some things that occurred in the family that were just kind of interesting to me relative to the Civil War, actually. And so very, very interesting. Make a list of someone that you can reach out to in the next week that you haven't talked to in a long time. It's a risk. It takes a little bit of pushing us, right? We have to kind of push ourselves, nudge ourselves. That's why I want the schedule, because blame it on the schedule. If it's on the schedule, we're going to do it. So let's do that. So again, back to basics, our bodies, we're having a schedule, we're limiting our news, we're socially connecting when we can. Last comment. If you find yourself not feeling well, so you find yourself feeling sad or feeling a little lost or feeling like you're not sleeping well or sleeping too much, if you're not enjoying your day-to-day world, you may be suffering from a little bit of sadness, maybe even a little bit of depression. Very, very common among folks that are over a certain age. Here's the thing. Treatment is really accessible now, and treatment really does work. And it feels a little awkward to reach out and call, and it feels a little strange to be logging on. By the way, we're doing all therapy, and I don't just mean at West Bergen Mental Health Care. Just about every professional I know out there in the community are doing them via teletherapy. So it looks just like this. You're going to log on to Zoom. You're going to have a conversation with a therapist just like me, and you're going to have that back and forth, and we're going to try to bring you through a process. So the days of having to make an appointment for therapy, and what are their hours, and where is the office, and where am I going to park, and what are all those things that we sort of put in front of ourselves a little bit as barriers, but also a little bit of normal worries, have gone away. This is a new and special day in the mental health world. Here we are. You can talk to me anytime you want from the comfort of your living room, and I in my home office. So know that among myself, the 300 staff that work at West Bergen, and among the many, many clinicians that are in even the Westwood community, I know of lots of folks that are practicing in this area. I'm encouraging you to reach out if you think you need to. Know that if we don't think you need our help, we're not going to keep you around any longer than you need to. But here's the thing. This is my analogy. Small fires are much easier to put out than big fires. So come to us when I only need to use a little fire extinguisher, not when I have to call the Westwood Fire Department and we need to put this fire out. We want to do it when we're kind of bubbling, and I get that it takes a little bit of a push. I get that it takes a little bit of a nudge. That goes, by the way, for family members. If you have family members that you're a little bit worried about, a little bit awkward, and you don't quite know how to approach them about it because you think they might need some help, blame it on us. Blame it on Lisa. Blame it on me. I went to this meeting today. They had a mental health speaker, and I think you might be, dear, suffering from a little sadness, or you might be suffering from a little anxiety. I'll take all the heat. We'll blame it all on Lisa, whatever it takes. We had a meeting. We had a conversation, and we can go forward with that. So with that, I open it to questions. I hope that I stuck to my 10 minutes. I have a chatty streak in me. So it's from being child number 6. I had to get a lot of words in.
No, it was fabulous. And I'll take the heat. I'm used to being blamed for it anyway, so that's just par for the course. So, you know what, it's funny when you were talking about now you're doing these sort of like telehealth, and so many years are doing telehealth. I don't know if you remember several years on HBO, Lisa Kudrow was doing it was a comedy where she was a therapist, and all of her sessions as a psychiatrist were online.
That's right.
It was so ridiculous at the time. Like, you absolutely can't do something like that through a computer. I mean, the heresy of it. And now we're finding that a lot of things can be done with this technology. And saving yourself the trip, the parking,
right.
Even having to get dressed up from the waist down.
It is a new day. It's truly a new day in the mental health world. And I'm excited about this new day. I want to bring this forward, shout from the rooftops. You can get treatment. You can get help, and it's available to you, available to all of us. And so reach out if needed.
And, as you were talking to Michael, just the part about social connection. I mean, yes, this is one way of doing social connection, but one of the things that we have sort of on our radar for Westwood for All Ages to start implementing next month are more of these types of Zooms that would be more social connection, just like a coffee clutch, just get together and talk with friends about whatever's going on in your life. Talk about a topic of something that you might all have an interest in, whether, it could be, news events, it could be COVID related, it could be just, what are your best memories growing up in Westwood, and just sharing. Because a lot of organizations that do things for seniors are starting to make that pivot, right? And doing a lot of stuff online. So keep an eye out for that, folks who are here and on Facebook, because we are going to start putting together some programming specifically using this technology. And then our goal is to try to introduce the technology to more people too. So we might be doing a little bit of a deeper dive on how we could help make that happen. And I kind of gave away a little thunder too with Martha, because Martha's actually going to be, is one of our partners with Westwood for All Ages, and bringing technology to seniors has been a mission that we share with the library and want to continue to do that. So if we can do it to provide more social connection, that's even better. I didn't see any specific questions other than, Kathleen did say something about having like a group for seniors to talk about COVID concerns. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Kathleen, what you're thinking? Wait, you're muted. So.
Okay. Yes.
early on in the COVID process, I guess around maybe in April, I called Bergen Mental Health looking for a group of seniors from various places. And I was told that they have one group, but Esther, who answered the phone, said that that group was closed and they didn't admit new members. So I was fortunate enough to be hooked up with an individual who's wonderful, and I can't say enough good things about West Bergen, but I still think that having a group to sit in a Zoom call, I guess, or 8 feet apart in the community center, whatever, I think it would be a really healthy thing, because a lot of us have the same issues and questions that maybe somebody else has handled, and we can learn from the way they handle them. Or maybe you just want to get it off your chest, or maybe you just want to know if somebody has heard anything that you haven't heard about future. And
Kathleen, love the suggestion. It's one of the advantages of coming to these meetings is I learn something that I didn't know. I certainly knew about the senior group at West Bergen. I love the idea of doing kind of a drop-in group, just as you're describing. I love that idea, and I promise to bring that back to work and work on that. Love this.
Oh, great. Like an AA group, but really for...
Yeah, same idea. Yeah, very much. That sense of mutual support, right? That sense of sharing, that sense of, I had that experience, you might want to try this, or I tried that, don't do it. Whatever it is.
Right.
So.
And not necessarily members from the same organization like Westwood for All Ages, although we are a wonderful group of people. But people from other towns as well could come if it was sponsored by somebody like you.
I love it. I love the idea. Love the idea. Thank you for that.
That's great.
I was a little curious about why it's the group that you have in existence is closed, yes. But it's for seniors, so doesn't it stand to reason that people perhaps go to their reward and their spaces open up?
That's a very, very...
Because of the age bracket? I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't know. Was it... Anyway.
I appreciate the delicateness with how you asked that question. And I will look into it, I promise.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you. So I want to introduce Martha Erbiel, who is our director of the library. I think everybody knows Martha, but if you don't, she's the director of our Westwood Public Library. And let me tell you, this is a hardworking lady. It does pandemic or no, she's constantly in motion, and so is her staff and volunteers. And so many wonderful things have been happening here through the Westwood Library. If you're not on their email list for updates, you really need to be, because she sends out all kinds of great information. And
even though I remain in the dark,
and she's
I'm not trying to be.
Worse things have been said about me over the years, Martha, than being in the dark. So don't worry about it. So we will shine a light on you.
That's right.
So why don't you share with us a little bit about happenings at the library?
Well, let's see. We just finished our summer reading program, so that was a lot of fun. And we now are going to kick off our fall reading program, which is much like our summer reading program, only a little different. But that starts September 1st. So that's for kids and parents too. So the priority there was to find a lot of activities that kids could do that wasn't on the computer. But we're still kind of literacy based and doing its incentivized activities. So we have that all rolling out September 1st. And then the concentration with adults is, again, just on training and retooling. We have a lot of programs coming up for all kinds of things. Genealogy, if that's of your interest, because Ancestry.com is available now at home, which it used to be only available in the library, but now anybody can get it at home. So that's been a very a big database that people have been using quite a bit. We're doing things for computer training and also for small businesses. We've partnered with Google, so we can share a lot of the Google trainings to business owners or business people or entrepreneurs who want to learn how to use some of those tools online. So we have all those are scheduled. And then we've just been adding new databases. I think we've talked about it before, but we added Udemy, which is an online classroom that you normally would have to pay for, but it's free through your library, and you can learn all kinds of things through there, everything from business tools to personal things like cooking and that kind of thing. We're sponsoring working with Westwood, Celebrate Westwood, and we're sponsoring a concert. The Friends of the Library is sponsoring a concert in the park on September 12th. And what else do I want to say? Oh, we have a lot of book groups that we're doing. One is we started a Reading Against Racism book group, and so we did have one that we did in July and August, and our next one is scheduled for November. And that one is not just a book group, but it's also partnering with a professor from one of the local colleges. Last discussion, it was with Professor Reck from Ramapo College, who's a sociology professor. This book that we're doing is Isabel Wilkerson's new book called Caste, and it's just coming out. It's an Oprah pick. It's going to be fantastic. I read her previous book, which is a Pulitzer Prize winning book. So I'm very excited about that. Anybody in Westwood can get that book online right now. So you don't have to put yourself on hold. It's very, very popular. So that's something that we can do for you, is get that book for you right now. And then we have the regular online book groups for adult fiction. And so there's a lot.
And I have to do a little plug for some of the online stuff too. I was watching several Hoopla movies over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
And I just love that. It's like a whole nother streaming service. Like, who needs Netflix and Amazon Prime when you've got Hoopla? Really some excellent stuff. And same with Canopy. I think there's a little bit of overlap there, but they both provide just a really rich amount of resources for free.
Yeah.
Just watch it right in your home.
That's right. And we just are adding, I'm going to put this out, but we're testing Acorn TV. So that's a lot of those British history shows that you can also get access to. So we're going to be adding that to our services pretty soon.
That's great. Thank you, Martha.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry you had to cancel the outdoor library stuff today. I think
yeah, that's good. We're hanging on here for another week or so, but then we're going to be doing it every afternoon. So every afternoon people can come by and sit out there and use the tables. It's a very nice place to hang out if you haven't come by to sit out there. So
yeah, I agree. That's beautiful.
Coming.
And yesterday was a perfect day to be outside. Oh my goodness, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna launch one last little question online to see how much you guys know about some of our parks here in Westwood, and then when we're done with this, I'm gonna turn it back over to Barbara. Barbara, you'll want to unmute yourself before we do that. But this is a quick question, and there's a reason why I'm asking this. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the polling here. So I expect everybody to know the answer to this one. Which park in Westwood has outdoor tennis courts? Is it Voorhees Park, McKinley Park, Westvale, Brookside, or Gritman? If you don't live in Westwood, you might not know the answer to this. But which one has outdoor tennis courts? Roseanne knows why I'm asking this question. Okay, for those of you on Facebook Live, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we've got, I think 8 people have answered, which is probably how many people we've got here. So there we go. There's the results. Yes, most of you knew that it was McKinley Park, not Voorhees. Voorhees is the one that's on Lafayette, closer to Mill. McKinley, north of Washington Avenue, and they do have tennis courts. And who said Westvale Park?
I did.
So why do we care that there are tennis courts at McKinley Park, Roseanne?
Well, for 2 reasons. One, tennis is permissible, and so if you play tennis, you can get out there. But second of all, Westwood Recreation Department has a Forever Young 55 plus pickleball program, in which if you register online, you may get access to the pickleball equipment and you can play. And actually, I just worked with Gary on a new flyer, so we'll be posting that in a day or so. So yes, pickleball. However, I will tell you also, if you take a nice walk through Westvale and you use the nature cut through to Pascack Brook, the county also has tennis courts in Pascack Brook. They are not fitted for pickleball, but again, if you enjoy light tennis volleying, you can certainly partake in that there too. If you do a whole loop, it's almost 2 miles. So it's a very nice stretch of the legs if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, and if you haven't had a chance to walk Westvale Park and go through to the other side to Pascack Brook Park, and you're able to do that, it really is a lovely nature walk. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to get outdoors and get some exercise.
And coming soon,
Thank you.
coming soon, you'll also see some adult exercise equipment in the park.
Yes, we're excited, very excited about that, and we're partnering to kind of help that along. All right.
I just wanted to say about the pickleball. Am I muted? No. I was playing tennis at McKinley Park the other day, and the pickleball people were there, and they were having a ball. I almost wanted to stop playing tennis and go play pickleball because it was. They were just having a great time. It seemed like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like great fun. All right, well, we are just at 4 o'clock, just about, so I wanted to make sure we kind of keep this to our 1 hour. So I'm going to ask Barbara to close us out with one more song, and then when she's done, we'll all just kind of wave goodbye and end our session. So take it away, Barbara. And thank you all for coming.
Thanks for doing it.
Let's see. Okay, are we okay now?
Yep, we're good.
I got the blues, you know, I feel so lonely. I give the world if I could only make you understand. Oh, it surely would be grand. I'm gonna telephone my baby. Ask him, won't you please come home? 'Cause when you're gone, I worry all day long. I said, baby, won't you please come home? Baby, won't you please come home? And I have tried in vain, never more to call your name. When you left, you broke my heart. That will never make us part. I said every hour of the day you're gonna hear me say, baby, won't you please come home? I mean, baby, won't you please come home? I say, baby, won't you please come home? 'Cause your mama, she's all alone. And I have tried in vain, or nevermore to call your name. When you left, you broke my heart. That will never make us part. I said that landlord's getting worse. Gotta move me first. Baby, won't you please come home? I need some money. Baby, won't you please come home? Oh, yeah.
I think we all need some money.
Thank you, guys. Yes, yes.
That's a delightful song. So wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara and Bill, for sharing your talent.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you, Michael and Martha and Jean and Roseanne and everyone and Kathleen and all of you for being a part of the connection today. We were a small group, but that's okay. It was a delightful time. We'll be sharing this on YouTube. We'll be sharing it on it's already shared on our Facebook page. Happy trails to you until we meet again.
We were
1
going
month
to do
from
that
today.
one.
That's on our list.
Okay, you can play us out with happy trails. If you guys need to leave, just click on the little leave button, but I'm going to let it ride and let them play one more song.
Happy trails to you
Let's all sing together.
until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Yay. Yes, next time we'll have the bouncing ball that we can all follow along. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.